Chapter 1. The Eviction of a Winner. You're staring at a neon pink piece of paper taped to your front door. It's an eviction notice. You owe 2 months' rent, plus late fees. This wouldn't be unusual in the fight business, except for one tiny, hilarious detail. Exactly 9 days ago, you won the biggest fight of your life. You knocked out the #1 contender in the Global Combat League. The crowd went ballistic. The commentators called you a future legend. You were supposed to walk away with a $50,000 purse. That is life-changing money. It's buy a house money. It's certainly pay your damn rent money. So why are you sitting in the dark? Because yesterday, you had your wrap-up meeting with your manager, Silas Vance. Silas wears custom Italian suits and smells like expensive gin. He slid an envelope across his massive oak desk. Inside was your cut of the 50 grand. The check was for exactly $8,400. Chapter 2. The Math of Betrayal. Let me break down the psychotic mathematics of sports management. When you sign your life away, you are told the manager takes 10, maybe 20%. But Silas didn't take 20%. He took 30. And he didn't take it off the net. He took it off the gross, before taxes, before gym fees. 30% of 50 grand is $15,000. Silas made 15 grand for answering 6 emails and booking your hotel. You asked him why his cut jumped to 30%. He smiled that predatory smile and pointed to the fine print. Sponsorship acquisition fees, he said. He claimed he got you the sponsors on your shorts, so he takes a 50% cut of those, which he neatly bundled into his overall percentage of your purse. After his 15 grand, taxes took another 12. Your head coach took his 10% of the gross 5 grand. Your sparring partners took 3. You paid for your own flights, your corner's flights, and your medicals. By the time the blood was wiped off the floor, you were left with less than 9 grand. Chapter 3. The Gatekeeper's Toll. You might ask, why did you sign with a bloodsucker like Silas? Because in this sport, managers aren't just agents. They are the gatekeepers to the cartel. The promoters, the guys running the Global Combat League, don't want to talk to fighters. Fighters are emotional, are desperate, and they are usually broke. If you call the GCL matchmaker, it goes straight to voicemail. But if Silas calls, they answer on the first ring. Silas feeds them a steady diet of cheap bodies. Managers control stables of 50, maybe 100 fighters. If the promoter needs a guy to step in on short notice to get his brains beat in, Silas provides the meat. In exchange for providing the cannon fodder, Silas gets his top guys the lucrative title fights. It is a massive, unspoken quid pro quo. If you don't play the game, you don't fight. You get iced out. So you sign the 30% deal, hoping the scraps are enough to survive. Chapter 4. Double dipping and dirty money. But the 30% is just the overt robbery. The real money is in the double dipping. Managers in this game are masters of the phantom expense. Take your flights. The GCL promoter actually pays for the fighter and one cornerman to fly to the event. It's baked into their promotional budget. But Silas doesn't tell his fighters that. He bills you for the flights out of your purse, claiming he fronted the money. He pockets the promoter's stipend entirely. Then there are the sponsors. Silas got you a deal with a terrible energy drink company. They paid $10,000 for the center spot on your shorts. Silas told you the deal was for 5 grand. He kept 5 off the top and then took his 30% commission on the remaining 5. You found out because you ran into the energy drink rep at the hotel bar. The math finally clicked. Silas isn't managing your career. He's strip mining it. Chapter 5. The Sunset Clause. So, the obvious solution is to fire him, right? Tell him to go to hell, hire a new manager, and keep your money. That brings us to the legal bear trap. It's called a sunset clause. Every predatory management contract has one. It states that even if you terminate your agreement with Silas Vance today, he still receives his full 30% commission on your next 3 fights, or for the next 24 months, whichever comes last. It is indentured servitude, with a corporate letterhead. If you leave him, you have to pay your new manager 20% and pay Silas his 30%. You would be giving away 50% of your gross income just to step into the cage. You wouldn't just miss rent, you would owe money to fight. Chapter 6. The Forensic Audit. You can't outmuscle a bad contract, and you definitely can't afford a lawyer on an $8,000 budget, so you have to become a predator yourself. You stop crying about the rent and start digging. You go through every email, every text message, every PDF receipt Silas ever sent you over the last 2 years. You are looking for the one thing managers fear more than a losing streak: proof of a fiduciary breach, proof that he stole money outside the bounds of his own terrible contract. It takes 3 days, but you find it. The flight receipts. He emailed you an invoice for $2,000 for flights he explicitly claimed he purchased for your corner. But you still have the original booking emails from the airline. The credit card used ends in 4,412. That's not Silas's card. That's the GCL corporate card. He billed you for free tickets. Chapter 7. Ambushing the Middleman. Silas eats lunch at the same high-end steakhouse every Tuesday, usually courting some naive, undefeated kid from the regional circuit. You walk in wearing your gym clothes. The matron tries to stop you. You walk right through him. You spot Silas in a leather booth, pouring wine for a young heavyweight. Silas looks up, annoyed. "Jackson, what are you doing here? Call my assistant." You don't say a word. You just drop the manila folder right onto his plate of filet mignon. "You billed me $2,000 for flights the GCL comped," you say, your voice perfectly level. "That's wire fraud, Silas. That's a breach of fiduciary duty." His face goes pale. He knows the contract. A fiduciary breach immediately voids the entire management agreement, including the sunset clause. "If I take this to the athletic commission, you lose your license." You whisper, "If I take it to the GCL, they fire you for stealing their corporate perks." Your whole stable walks. Chapter 8. The Direct Deposit. Silas tries to bluff, but there is no leverage left. He asks the heavyweight to excuse you. He pulls a pen from his suit pocket. Right there at the table, he drafts an unconditional release. He waives the sunset clause. You are officially a free agent, but you're not done. "And my $15,000 from last week?" you demand. "Consider it a severance package." He hates you, but he wires the money from his phone right there. You walk out of the restaurant, check your banking app, and see a number that will actually pay the rent. You fired the gatekeeper. The next day, you go straight to the GCL matchmaker yourself. No middleman. You negotiate a flat fee for your next fight. You keep 100% of the money. You have no safety net now. If you fall out of favor, you have no manager to beg for your job. But in a business built on taking punches, you refuse to let the biggest hits come from your own team. Keep your hands up in the cage, but keep your eyes open in the office. Because in combat sports, the most dangerous guy isn't wearing 4-ounce gloves. He's wearing a suit.